Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeremy Walsh. I'd like to welcome you to the webinar. I am the Director of Support, Training, and Documentation for BNI Connect, and today's webinar is going to be on the social media portions of BNI Connect. So we're going to be talking about connections, how to find people and connect with people on a global basis through BNI Connect. We're also going to be talking about how to give testimonials to your connections, to people that you'd like to brag about their services. We also are going to talk about the groups functionality in BNI Connect and how you can now take these connections that you've made with people around the world and have global conversations, either about your industry or about things in BNI. So before we get started on all of that, just a couple of housekeeping things, and it looks like we still have a few people connecting to the webinar. This webinar is a live webinar, so if you do have any questions as we're going through the content today, please do feel free to ask those questions as we're going along. The best way to do that is by typing your question into the questions panel in the GoToWebinar software. I'll see that question pop up on my screen, and I'd be happy to answer those questions as we're going through. We're scheduled for about a half-hour worth of content. I usually try to make sure that I get through all the main content right by the bottom of the hour, so that way if people have their businesses or other appointments that they have to get to, they can get right to those. That being said, here in support, we answer questions all day, every day, so I am always happy to stay on these live webinars as long as people have questions. So if you have a little extra time, feel free to ask any questions that you would like to. So let's get started. Oh, a couple other things. This webinar is being recorded, so you can review this webinar afterwards. A couple of ways that you can get to the recordings. So if you go to this question mark here in BNI Connect in the upper right-hand corner, that will take you over to the support site. And on the support site, what you'll see is our list of upcoming webinars. And then also in training and documentation, you'll see a section for recorded webinars. If you click into the recording webinars, you'll see that they're all arranged month by month. You can click on a particular month and take a look at all of those recorded webinars for that month. You can view them here, you can view them full screen, or if you'd like to, go over to our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. And up here we have all of our recorded content. So we do have a number of recorded webinars up here. We also have things like educational moments, short 3 to 5 minute videos on a specific topic. You can use those in your chapters if you'd like to, but they're ways to learn a little bit more about the system. There's also special announcements from Dr. Meisner, as well as new release functionality, all sorts of things up on our YouTube channel. All right, so let's talk about the social media parts of BNI Connect and how you can get connected really with other BNI members around the world. So a couple of things about getting connected with people. An important thing to keep in mind is that when you are connecting with other people and other people are wanting to connect with you, you have to be very conscious of how you appear to other people and how your profile looks when people find you. You know, we talk about VCP all the time in BNI, visibility plus credibility equals profitability. Well, that applies to your online profile as well. Let me just show you what I mean. Now, let's say I'm going to go up to our test site up in Antarctica, so antarcticreferrals.com, and let's say that I'm a member of the public, or I'm a past member, or I'm just browsing our regional website, and I'm looking for somebody, and let's say that, I heard Art Garfunkel is a member up there in Antarctica, so I'm going to look for Art, and oh yeah, here he is, Art Garfunkel. He's in the Burr chapter, so let me click on his profile, and Art doesn't really have a whole lot of information being shared here. I can see his phone number, I can kind of see his address, I see his name and his chapter and his category, but there's not much more. There's no picture, there's no profile, there's no social media links, ways to contact him. So the chances of Art receiving any business through BNI Connect are probably pretty slim if somebody was to find this on the regional website. Now the same is true on the inside of BNI Connect. So let's say that I go and I search for Art Garfunkel here, and I come across his profile, and again, still not a whole lot of information that I can see about Art. He's not sharing any bio. I can see the people that he's connected to, There's no testimonials. Really, there's not much credibility building going on here. Now instead, let's say that somebody was looking for me. So let's say they were looking for some computer services here in Rhode Island. They'd find a bunch of people that did computer services. Let's say they clicked on my profile. Now, this is a more complete profile. It has my picture, it has my company logo, it has my name, my chapter name, it has my business description. People can read a little bit more about what I do. People can get in touch with me in any of a number of different ways. They can send me an email message, they could call me on any of my phone numbers, they could go check out my website, they can go look at my Facebook page, my LinkedIn page, my Twitter account. They can read more about what a good referral is for me. So this is a little bit more of a public profile that has more credibility behind it. And it's the same on the inside of BNI Connect as well. Let's say that somebody was looking for me and they come across my profile. Again, it has a lot of the same information. BNI members can see a little bit more. So they can actually look at my keywords. They can look at my bio tab. They can read my 60-second presentations and gains and tops profile. They can see all my connections. They can see the testimonials that people have left for me. They can look at my photo library. They can see what groups I'm participating in, and they can see my training history as well. So before we get into the technique of finding people in BNI Connect, how do you update your profile? And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because we have a webinar dedicated to this, but definitely you want to take some time to make sure that when you're found in BNI Connect, people are seeing the real you. Quickest way to get there, from your home screen, click on the Update Profile My BNI page. You'll notice that this is broken into a number of tabs, so really all you need to do is go through these tabs and fill out the information. Upload your picture, upload your logo, and make sure that on this tab that has the phone on it, make sure that it is checked off so that you will be found on the public website. Now, before I exit out of the profile, one thing that I want to pay some special attention to is down here at the bottom of the first tab on the main profile screen, you'll see keywords. Now, when we're talking about people getting found in BNI Connect and looking for people in BNI Connect, it's really important to take some time to think about your keywords, because that's really how people are going to find you. Now, of course, they're going to be able to find you by name. They're also going to be able to find you by your industry, and they're going to be able to find you by your classification. They're going to be able to find you by your address details, what town you live or work in, what state you live or work in. But a lot of times people are really looking not just by what your classification is, but other services that you might provide as well. So take some time to fill out your keywords. It holds about 200 characters, so you do have to be selective in what you put in there. But a couple of strategies. You may want to use different permutations of words. For example, if you're in accounting services and you do bookkeeping, you might want to put bookkeeper as well as bookkeeping, and that way you'll be found for both keywords. Another strategy for this is to put location into the keywords. For example, I'm a member here in the Rhode Island region. If you don't know much about Rhode Island, it's a really, really small state. It is the smallest state in the United States. It's only about 20 miles wide by about 40 miles long. Now, because of that, there's a lot of people here in Rhode Island that we do business across the borders into Massachusetts and into Connecticut. So what I did was I wanted to make sure that somebody who's looking for help for computers in Massachusetts or Connecticut, that I was found there as well. So I put in Massachusetts and Connecticut into my keywords. So that might be a strategy that you use as well. Now, it works in the opposite direction too. I know we have people on the webinar today that are in really, really big states like California or Texas, or I know Steve Elliott, who's with us today, he is on in Arizona. So you may want to put in more regional names. So you may have an office in, let's say, Phoenix, but you'd also like to be found for your services in Scottsdale. So you might want to put Scottsdale into your keywords. And the same thing goes for California or any of the other states around. All right, so now once we have all our profile filled out, we need to go and find some people in BNI Connect. How do we go about and do that? So you can find all of the social networking components. So I'm back on my home screen. This is what you see when you first log in. You can click on this My Network button here. And the My Network button is your access to get into all of the different things that are more of a networking association here in BNI Connect. So you can see it's broken into a number of tiles here. We have our connections, we have our groups, we have your regional document library, so that's where your region can upload files for you. They could be, for example, if you're on the membership committee, they could be the control letters, they could be notes for how to give a good 60-second weekly presentation, could be all sorts of things up there in the documents section. Testimonials or testimonials that you've given or received from other people. Your regional training events that are happening. And there's an internal messaging system as well. Now, the first thing we're probably going to want to do is to start connecting with other people in BNI Connect. And what the connections are is you can start to build your very own BNI address book so that you have easy access to other people that you might know here in BNI. So you will be, by default, connected to all of the other members of your chapter. So BNI Connect manages those connections for you. As a new member comes into your chapter, you'll be automatically connected to that person. And as a person leaves the chapter, you'll be automatically disconnected from them. But there are 140,000 other people in BNI Connect that you might want to connect with. So we can do that by going to the Add button here. So under Connections, we can go to Add. You can also, from any screen in BNI Connect, click on this magnifying glass in the upper right-hand corner. That will take you to Search People, bring you to the BNI directory. So once we get to the BNI directory, you'll notice this is just a single field search. So you can type in pretty much anything you want here. There's a description of what is going to be searched down here at the bottom. But for example, I know we have, we have Jack Hiddle here on the call with us today. So I'm going to do a search for Jack. And if I click Search Members, this will search worldwide for Jack, and I can see him here. He's in BNI Summit with Affordable Website Development. He's down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. If I'd like to, I can click on his name, and that will bring up his profile in a new tab. So I can see that Jack is in Fort Lauderdale and Broward. He's in the Summit chapter where he's a member. I can see all about his business and his keywords. I can see his phone number. I could email him if I'd like to from here because he is sharing his email address. I can take a look at his bio and his 60-second presentations and his gains. I can look at his other connections as well. Again, his testimonials and his photo library and any groups he's participating in and his training history. Now, I'm already connected with Jack, so I don't have the option to connect again. You can also search by any keywords or anything, and searching by keywords is great for a number of reasons. One reason that you may want to search for somebody that might be in another part of the country or even in another country is, let's say that you're traveling. So maybe you're traveling on vacation and you'd like to use a local BNI member, either maybe for accommodations or maybe a ride from the airport. It's great to be able to reach out to other BNI business members to pass that kind of tier 1 referral of yourself because we know that they're going to provide good service. So you can look for, let's say I'm going to be heading to Florida and I'd like to get a massage while I'm down there. So I can do a search and look for massage therapists in Florida. This will come back and it will give me all the exact matches. And I can see all the different people that are in massage therapy in Florida. Now there's quite a long list here. Maybe I want to further refine this list. So I can use this secondary search box, and maybe I just want to put in if there's anybody in Jacksonville. I start typing Jackson and it'll filter this out, and we have Kina here in Jacksonville. So I can always click on her profile. I can see if this is somebody that I'd like to connect with. She looks like a smiling massage therapist. Maybe I want to connect with her. I can click on add, add Kina to my connections. This will send her a request to be connected with me. By closing the tab, I'll go back to my search. I can remove this filter if I'd like to, and my original search shows back up. And I can start going through and clicking on people that I might want to connect with. You know, another great reason to use BNI Connect for this is if you happen to have clients in multiple states or maybe even family members. I know that personally, I have clients that are here in Rhode Island that have offices in other states. I have one client here whose headquarters is in Rhode Island, but they have an office in the Virginia area as well as one in the Florida area. So when they need additional help that I can't provide because I'm located here in Rhode Island, I reach out to BNI members in order to pass that referral. But it could also be your cousin in Colorado or your grandmother that's in Florida or your aunt that's in Albuquerque. Any of those people that come to you and say, do you happen to know somebody? You can reach into BNI Connect to help them out. Now, if you'd like to be a little bit more specific in your searching, there is an option for an advanced search as well. And if you look up here in the gray bar in the upper right-hand corner, you can see the advanced search. And if you click on advanced search, you can see that it breaks it down into all the different fields, so you can search specifically for first name and last name and company name. You can choose a specific industry from the list if you'd like to. You can choose just to search in a specific country. So let's say that I'm just looking for anybody in the IT field in the United Kingdom. I can search for members that way, and I can see all my results down here. Now, the other way you can connect with people is if you see somebody right here that you would like to connect with, you can click on the plus sign, and that would also send out the message to them so that you'd like to connect with them. All right, do we have any questions on searching in BNI Connect? I'd be happy to answer those. So if there's no questions on searching, I'm going to go back to my home screen now. And now that you've started connecting with people, you've sent them connection requests, just like with Facebook and LinkedIn, there is a second step to that. It is an opt-in connection. So as people are connecting with you, you also need to accept their connection requests. Now we do that, again, through this My Network tab. I can click on the Manage button here under the Connections tile. I could also, if I'd like to, click on Network Connections. And this will take us over into the Connections interface where we can look at all of our connections. So it'll tell you how many connections you have. I have 390 connections. I can scroll through them here on the left, or I could scroll through them over here on the right as well. And if I click on one of those connections, so let's say that I click on my good friend Crystal Durafoli here. She's a regional admin in the New York area. I can take a look at her profile, and this is a modified version of her profile, so it's more like an address card. So I can see her various contact information and send her an email if I wanted to. I could also give her a call. And I have some other options here. I can send her a message. I can ask her for a testimonial. I can give her a testimonial. I can go and I can view her full profile if I'd like to, or I can choose to remove her from my connections. Now, for people that have sent you requests, you do need to respond to those. You can do that by clicking down here. There's a Received Requests folder at the bottom. And if I click on the Received Requests, you can see that I have 2 pending connection requests. Now I can go through, I can read the message if I'd like to and see what Art said, and Ajit just said, I would like to add you to my connections. I can choose to accept that if I'd like to, ignore it or reject it, or I can go back to my received requests here. If I'm not sure who Ajit is and I want to see a little bit more information about him, I can click on his name, and that would bring me to his profile as well. So now I can verify who he is. I can take a look, see more information about his bio or his connections or his testimonials before I choose to accept that connection. And the same thing with Monica here. I could read Monica's message. She says she's enjoying the YouTube videos. Now, if you have a lot of connection requests in there, you can choose Select All, and that would select everybody in the list. You can just choose Accept on one at a time, or if I select all, I can choose Connect to Selected. And that'll go through and connect with all of the people in my list. And now they'll be added to my All Connections. So we can see now that I have 393 connections because I'm now connected with those two additional people. Now, one of the things that you can do with your connections once you're connected with them is that you can leave them testimonials. So the way that you leave testimonials for people is that you do need to click on one of the members in your connections list. And again, one of the options you have here is to give this person a testimonial. So I would click on Give Frank a Testimonial, and I could write a nice testimonial to Frank about his services or what he's done or how he's helped me, and then click Submit. Then that testimonial would appear on his profile. Now, if you'd like to review testimonials that you have given or that you've received, you can go into the Testimonials interface. So you do that by clicking on the Testimonials button here in My Connections, or if I go back to my home screen, on the My Network tab, there is a Testimonials tile as well, and I can click on Manage here. Of course, I could always go to Network, Testimonials as well. Here we'll see all of our received testimonials. So you could go through. These are all people that have left me testimonials. I could click on one of those, and I could read the testimonial that the person's left for me. I could also choose whether or not this testimonial is displayed on my profile, so I could hide a testimonial if I'd like to. I could also remove the testimonial if I needed to. There is a limitation in BNI Connect that right now we can only leave one testimonial per person. So if somebody had left me a testimonial and they wanted to update it or give me a new testimonial, I would have to remove their existing testimonial first. I can also review the testimonials that I have given. So I've given 18 testimonials. I could go back and I could read through what I've written to other people. If I click on my testimonial requests, these are people that have requested a testimonial of me. If I'd like to, I can go ahead and give that testimonial to them. I could ignore it, or I can reject the opportunity to give them a testimonial as well. Going back to the home screen, the next thing I'd like to show you is the groups. Now, groups in BNI Connect are really the way that you can start building more credibility on a global scale. It's really what allows us to have a conversation with other members and even directors and even the founder of BNI, all through the BNI Connect groups. So the groups, what I can do is click on Manage here, or of course I can go to Network, Groups, and this will take me into the Groups interface. So currently in BNI Connect, there are about 639 active groups. So there's a ton of opportunity to get involved in existing conversations that people are having around the world. And there are conversations going on about everything. So there's one here that's the BNI Global Property Power Team. There's one for cross-pollination. There's one for investigative professionals. I have a group that's specifically for announcing and reminding about upcoming webinars. We have an online business network, and you can go through these pages one by one to see all of the different groups that are out there. Of course, you can also search for groups. And to do that, I would click on the magnifying glass here within the groups. And let's say that I'd like to just find all the groups that Dr. Meisner has created. So I'm going to, under the creator field, I'm going to type in Meisner and click enter or click on search. So I can see that there are 3 groups that are created by Meisner, 2 of them from Dr. Ivan Meisner, the founder. One's called the From the Founder Group, and there's one called Why BNI. There's also one that his wife Beth has created for the BNI Foundation. If you'd like to join a group, click on the Join Group button. That will allow you to participate in the discussion, and you'll also receive email notifications whenever somebody posts into the group. Once you're participating in the group, you can click on the name of the group and see all of the different topics. Now, Dr. Meisner's group is very, very active. He has 152 topics that are going on and hundreds of posts. And the great thing is that there's over 2,000 participants to that group. So when we talk about visibility and credibility, when you make comments in a group like this, that's 2,000 people that are seeing what you have to say on a certain topic. I can view those participants through the Participants tab. I can even click through and look at somebody's profile by clicking on their name. I can also see the details of this group. And invite people to join the group as well. BNI Connect also gives you the ability to create up to 7 of your own groups in BNI Connect. So if you'd like to start a conversation about something and invite people to join that conversation, you can do that as well. To create a group, click on Add Group. So all you need to do is give the group a name. You can choose what kind of access people have. So this is before they become a member of the group. Will you allow them to just view the topics and conversations, or will you allow them to participate in the group as well? You can also choose what type of group it is. An open group means that anybody will be able to find that group and join the group. An invite only means that it will be a hidden group in the system, and people need to be invited to that group in order to participate. If it's members can invite, it will also be a hidden group, but once somebody becomes a member, they'll be able to invite other members to it. You can give the group a description. What is this group? What's the purpose? What are you going to be talking about? And you can choose what language. Now, it doesn't translate anything. It's more just to let people know what the primary language being spoken in that group is. And then you can choose to invite any of your contacts. Once you've got all your settings, just click Submit. And it will be one of your groups. So now I can see my groups and the groups that I'm participating in. And here's my test group 34323. The next thing to do is to make sure that you start a conversation. So in order to start a conversation, you need to add a topic. And then you and other people will be able to comment on that topic. I can click on the topic, and I can post a message. All right, so we are at the bottom of the hour. So what I'd like to do is to wrap up the content portion and open it up for any questions. For those of you that do need to leave right away at the bottom of the hour, I'd like to thank you very much for your time and being on the webinar with us today. I hope you learned something new about connections, groups, and testimonials here in BNI Connect. Just a reminder, this webinar, including any upcoming questions, is being recorded. You'll be able to find it both on the support site, again, by clicking this question mark here in BNI Connect. That will take you over to the support site. You can also find them at youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. And you can find all of the recorded webinars up there. While you're browsing around the internet, if you could also, I would love it if you gave us a like up on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/BNI Connect Global. And this is our way of doing webinar reminders and announcements and tips and tricks and release announcements and all sorts of things up here on our Facebook page as well. So again, please, I'd love it if you could give us a like. And finally, if you do go to the support page, a good referral for me is to please invite more people to the webinars. If you learned something new today, please take this information back to your chapter. We host anywhere from about a dozen live webinars on a monthly basis. Our very next webinar is going to be next Wednesday, June 25th. We're going to be talking about visitors in the system, all the way from inviting a visitor to registering a visitor for a meeting to following up with visitors afterwards. That's going to be this coming Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. All right, so do we have any questions on any of the social media components of BNI Connect or anything else in the system? All right, if we don't have any questions, I will again thank everybody for being here, and I hope that you enjoy this gorgeous Friday afternoon and have a pleasant weekend as well. Thank you for being here, and happy connecting, everyone.